think history as a set of cold, hard facts. Think again. Most of what we know is a mix of bad translations and wartime propaganda. Today, we're counting down the 10 massive lies you were taught in school that are actually complete fiction. Stick around for number 1, because it changes everything you know about the most famous monument on Earth. Welcome to IzzyFacts. Starting our countdown at number 10, Germany started World War I. For a century, we've been told Germany was the sole aggressor. In reality, the war was a continental powder keg of secret treaties and reckless mobilization by multiple empires. Germany was a major player, but the war guilt was shared by many. The solo blame was largely Allied propaganda used to justify harsh punishments after the war. At number 9, the rats. We've always been told the Black Death was spread by rats on ships. However, recent research suggests human fleas and lice were the real culprits. Data models of the plague spread across Europe match human-to-human transmission far better than a rat-based one. We've been blaming the rodents for a human hygiene disaster for 700 years. Number 8. Samurai hated guns. Hollywood loves the image of the noble warrior rejecting firearms for the sword. In truth, samurai adopted Portuguese guns almost immediately in 1543. They became master marksmen and used firearms to win their greatest battles. They only restricted guns later to maintain social control, not because of honor. Coming in at number 7, the Roman vomitorium. The myth says wealthy Romans had special rooms to purge food so they could keep eating. In reality, a vomitorium was just a wide stadium passageway. The name comes from the Latin word vomo, describing how these exits allowed 50,000 people to spew forth from the Colosseum in minutes. Number 6. Cleopatra was Egyptian. While she was the Queen of Egypt, she was actually Macedonian Greek. She was a descendant of one of Alexander the Great's generals. She was the first in her line to learn the Egyptian language, but her bloodline was entirely Hellenistic. At number 5, Van Gogh's missing ear. We've been told he cut off his entire ear in a fit of madness. Historical records show he actually only severed a small portion of his left earlobe. It was a tragic crisis, but the image of him losing his entire ear is a major exaggeration. Number 4. Everyone died at 30 in the Middle Ages. This is a massive misunderstanding of average life expectancy. The average was low because so many infants died. If you survived childhood, you were statistically likely to live into your 60s or 70s, much like today. Coming in at number 3, Galileo was jailed for science. He was actually put under house arrest because he personally mocked the Pope in his writing. The Pope had supported his research, but when Galileo turned a scientific debate into a political insult, it became a matter of ego, not an attack on science. At number 2, Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Not only did the violin not exist yet, but Nero wasn't even in Rome when the fire started. He actually rushed back to lead the relief efforts and sheltered the homeless in his own palaces. The story was invented by later enemies to make him look like a monster. And finally, the number 1 biggest lie, the pyramids were built by slaves. Archaeological evidence has uncovered worker villages near Giza, showing that the builders were actually paid, respected laborers. They had medical care, bakeries, and were even granted honorable burials near the pyramids they built. The slave labor narrative was actually just a guess by the Greek historian Herodotus. Which of these myths was the biggest shock? Let me know in the comments. I'm Izzy, and this has been IzzyFacts. Like, subscribe, and keep questioning everything.